to people that are spending tax dollars. When it comes to tax dollars, people get super pragmatic and they go, why do we need to go to Mars? Now, what we need to do is take care of this and pay for that, and with the deficit and the budget. And
NASA's budget today is 0.4% of the federal budget. So if you take $1,
0.4%.
I will quantify that for you. Take a dollar bill, and imagine that's your tax dollar, and you can cut it to whatever percent you want. So let's cut 0.4% off of the edge. That doesn't get you into the ink. You're still in the white
area.
Border around it.
You wouldn't even notice. They take that dollar.
You could trim that off the dollar and
pay for anything.
So my point is, most of the people who say, don't spend it here, spend it there, they think NASA has more budget than it actually does. If you ask them, how much do you think they're getting? Oh, 10%, 5%, several percent. No, it's 0.5%. So if you're going to tell me that if you can take that 0.4% and spend it in these other problems.
Sense. Is there a Space Force currently? Is it real? Have they recruited
people? There's the United States Space Command. So
is there anybody who's a general?
If we make there's generals in the Air Force overseeing Space Command. So if you're going to make a Space Force, you would offload the space activities of the Air Force
Space Command
to this U.S. Space Command primarily to the Space Force, and then add or subtract from that in whatever way is sensible given the needs. If we have a Space Force, you know what I want to see?
What?
I want them to protect us from asteroids. How about that for a defense program?
That makes sense. But do you want the government involved in that? Shouldn't it be someone a little bit more thorough?
That's not how it works.
It's not. Scientists.
Yeah, you just made a blanket anti-government decision because you're just anti-government. It's visible to everybody in broad daylight, and you had to avert your eyes when it happened. And they felt a shockwave, and the shockwave broke windows and sent 600 people, nearly 1,000 people to the hospital. What happened? Well, because they saw the light and they got up from their table and went to the window to see what had happened, there's a time delay between the shockwave and the light because light travels fast and sound travels slow. So we'll go to the windows, and the shockwave hits, and it blasts broken glass into their face. So it's a big Band-Aid collision that we had.
Whoa.
The injured people all needed basically Band-Aids. Okay, no one died, but nearly 1,000 people were injured. So at an auction, by the way, that actually exploded, and pieces of it were recovered. At an auction, I purchased a piece of that meteorite, but you know what else I purchased? Some of the shards of glass that the shockwave had broken.
Wow. What do you do with this shit?
I've got it. It's just I have it. I'm a part of – it is a shot across our bow. That's what that – no one died.
But it's a warning.
There's no better way to be warned than to have a Band-Aid cover your injuries that could have vaporized you or rendered your – no. So there's a flaw. We don't even know what the flaw is. We know that no one else could get those results. So it goes in the dustbin of scientific research. Most research in any journal of the moment will ultimately shown to be wrong. That's the bleeding edge of science. It's a great place to be because you're in the trenches and you don't know what is true. You can't look up in the back of the book what the answer is to double check. You don't even know what the question is to ask half the time. Ooh.
But it's very frustrating for people that don't get it. And
correct, but it's exciting. It's exciting for the scientists.
It's exciting for knowledge.
Yes.
Period. It's constantly exciting.
Like
the moon landing one's my favorite.
Really?
I got balls deep in that for years. I was completely.
So you
convinced.
think they did not go to the moon?
No, I don't think that anymore.
Okay.
But you know what I think now? I think I don't know.
Okay.
But I do think that it is one of the more fascinating conspiracies that between 1969 and 1972, they had seven attempts, 6 of them successful. But they went to the Apollo 13 was the one that they didn't apparently make it, and they had to come back. But that was the only time in history that a human being has been more than 400 miles above the Earth's surface. All the space station missions, all the space shuttle missions, all that stuff is
within orbit.
Yeah, it's low. It's all very low. They went 260,000 miles out and back into deep space, but they had never even flown a chicken out there and see if it comes back alive.
New evidence previously not recognized. The Amazon is basically a garden. the Amazon is a man-made rainforest. There are certain trees like Brazil nut trees or the ice cream bean tree, which are food crops, which are very, very valuable, and they dominate the tree regime in the Amazon. They're what's referred to as hyperdominant species. In other words, people living in the Amazon over thousands of years selected certain trees, which they then cultivated and grew. So the whole thing is not simply a wild, pristine rainforest. It's a very ancient man-made environment. And emerging from that man-made environment, as well as evidence of large cities, large populations, and this mysterious dark earth, are huge